I'm Martin Rust. I'm with the Security and Policy Institute of Professional Development here at the University of Ottawa. My guest this afternoon is Kamran Bokhari. Kamran is the advisor to Stratfor on the Middle East and South Asia and author of the book Political Islam in an Age of Democratization. Kamran, we've been talking about ISIS and global terrorism. We've been talking about how these things are multi-generational issues that are not going away anytime soon. My question this afternoon is what is the way forward? In the wake of all the chaos and the clash and the conflict we see today, how do we here in Canada and as part of a much larger Western organization and group, how do we deal with the way forward?
There are two broad things that we need to do. One is that we really need to steer clear of a one-size-fit-all solution. There is none. We're just going to we're going to find solutions as we go along. We're going to try something, it won't work, and we'll have to move from there. But what we really need to do is look for allies. And the argument that I'm making is that countering jihadism, countering radical extremist Salafism is best done by having people from within the milieu, within the intellectual milieu, countering them. In other words, we need to look for Salafi and jihadi allies. And I think that the United States is trying to do that. If you look at the way the United States has been trying to negotiate with the Taliban, well, it was designed to fight Al-Qaeda. So if you can get the Taliban to part ways with Al-Qaeda and bring them into somehow political mainstream, and then, to moderate, to de-radicalize, this is the way to counter violent extremism. I think that needs to be done in Syria and on a broader scale. And the other thing is that we need to look for, we're always in search of moderates. We really haven't found them thus far, but the reason is that we haven't looked hard enough, around us in terms of who is it that can best serve as a potential partner.
As I sit and listen to you, it strikes me that this is an argument for having a Canadian Foreign Intelligence Service so that we can have our own eyes and ears engaged in the spotlight. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. We can't do it without it. There's just no way that we're going to be able to look for such partners, much less deal with them, and then move forward unless we have eyes and ears on the ground who are constantly maintaining situational awareness, providing the Prime Minister and the PCO and the wider government with the intelligence that they need to make informed policy decisions. And we really need to be thinking outside the box. We have to become creative. We're not going to be, we're not going to, it's like this, there's a lot of talk about, well, let's partner with Sufis to fight Salafis. Well, you do that and you make it worse because the Salafis think that they're deviant to begin with. Why would they buy their argument? So you need people who are part of the intellectual context. So for example, perhaps the Noor party in Egypt, it's a Salafi party that's gone mainstream. It's working with General Sisi. And so maybe we need people like them. Perhaps there are actors inside Syria, groups that may be Salafi jihadi, but they don't believe in the caliphate. They don't subscribe to ISIS or Al-Qaeda. They are just nationalists who want to have a share of power.
Right. So if ISIS and the resulting groups that form are there to fill a gap, if they're there to fill that space where states have collapsed and the regimes have collapsed, the new narrative that appeals to them and appeals to those who sympathize from the West, how do we create that narrative?
That's where we don't do it directly. We being the government or being Western powers, Western stakeholders, we need to work with our Muslim partners, whether they're Muslim governments overseas. We need to work with Muslim organizations inside Canada, in the United States, in the broader West. We need to partner with those people because, look, nobody can tell another people what their religion should be. It's the people themselves that have to define it. History has seen wars on this issue. The Christian world has seen so much bloodshed over the centuries because of this very question of who is to define what are the boundaries of justifiable action for a religion or a religious community. So we really need to partner with those people, and we need to find groups that have legitimacy, not lone actors who we think speak like us, talk like us, behave like us, and then we get all of a sudden very happy and say, oh, we've found the right partner, only to know that there's nobody following them.
Right. Clearly these are complex issues and they're not going away anytime quickly, but also clearly these are not issues that are over there in some other part of the world, but clearly they're very relevant here to Canada and to Canadian policymakers. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon. I'm Martin Rust. I'm with the Security and Policy Institute of Professional Development here at the University of Ottawa. My guest today has been Kamran Bokhari, advisor to Stratfor on the Middle East and South Asia, and author of Political Islam in the Age of Democratization. Thank you, Kamran.